Listen up, fellas.
Okay, welcome everybody to Starcross Kings. Starting for real this time. No more me challenging the king. Should I put my own games versus the king on YouTube? Maybe I should make like a separate playlist for my attempts at fighting the king. Well, it's kind of late for that now because I've already not recorded several of my bad attempts at beating kings. The only time I've ever succeeded when I got nominated was when I was playing U.S. Forces, which is appropriate, I think. The only faction I have not now tried is Ostheer. So next time I get nominated, I have to force myself to play Ostheer. But anyway, think about that later. This game is going to be Grant versus Nubolio. Nubolio, also known as Siddolio, also known as Sidprolio, is the king. Cruz has retired. He has stepped down. He has abdicated the throne and given it to Siddolio, who will inherit his great power. And he is going to defend his throne today against not only me, but also Grant. Grant playing as U.S. forces in the north. The map is Minsk Pocket, and the commander loadouts look pretty interesting. We've got defensive doctrine, encirclement, and mechanized assault for King Siddolio against Grant's U.S. forces, airborne, recon, and rifle company. So he likes paratroopers and he likes rifle company. See what he chooses to do. No rifle company selection yet, by the way, and he's queuing up a third rifleman, so probably not going to go rifle company, but you don't feel a lot of pressure to take this commander until 3 command points anyway, since the vetted riflemen don't make that much of a difference against Ostheer. If there's no Kuba Wagon, no SWS, then you can't use the anti-tank rifle grenade against anything anyway. Vet 2 riflemen, however, hitting the field a little faster can be a powerful thing. Siddolio tries to ghost barbed wire right here. I think those riflemen could destroy it if they wanted to, but the pathway is blocked for now. Grenadiers moving center to grab that victory point, and another squad of Grenadiers heading left. And this squad of riflemen will encounter a squad of Grens alone. This squad of riflemen also encountered a squad of Grens alone, but the Grens move to meet up with each other to start forcing retreats on rifle squads one by one, and it looks like they will be successful because of how late this squad was to chase. Siddolio closing into point-blank range with a full health squad to maximize their damage. Very nicely done right there by Siddolio to try and tank with the higher health squad right there, but he's still quite outnumbered. He might pick up this wipe though. Almost. Very outnumbered. This squad also in danger of getting wiped, has to retreat right now. If these riflemen focus fire that squad as it's retreating though, it'll give this squad a lot more time to deal damage to these riflemen who's still on the front line. Pio's closing in a short range for this engagement. Might be able to save the day. And another squad of Grenadiers is on its... Oh no, that's a machine gun. Machine gun is on its way to support. Oh, and there's 2 squads of Pios. This one's going to have to retreat. Siddolio trying to absorb as much damage as possible on low health / retreating squads causes Grant to lose the engagement. Grant got a little greedy during that and focus fired on 2 separate retreating one-man squads and didn't wipe either one, and as a result was not able to force retreats on the other squads early and loses the engagement. He also probably could have tightened up his timing a little bit on that, especially on this flanking squad from the south. So a few little errors there by Grant that cost him control of the center. Siddolio will be able to get control of the victory point, fuel, and strategic points simultaneously here, while Grant is pushed back into his base for reinforcement. And a lieutenant is on the field, so we're probably going to be looking at an M20 very soon.
What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits? Green, a capture point is being overrun. Well, grab your shit and follow me.
Grenadiers push some rear echelon troops away, and there it is, M20 queued up now. And it will be hitting the field pretty much on time. The harassment of this fuel point that Siddolio is doing is too late to slow down any U.S. light vehicles, other than... Well, actually, it could slow down the AA half-track, but it's not going to slow down the M20. M20 will be here very soon. Siddolio's own tech just getting queued up now. Battle phase 1 in progress. When it completes, he will be throwing out tier 2, try and get an AT gun out, try and counter some of Grant's armor. Flamethrower squad falling pretty low in this engagement, but this squad of riflemen is suppressed. They're going to stick around a little longer, bring the squad low, and force the retreat. Forcing these retreats and bleeding manpower before the M20 arrives will significantly weaken Grant's push. Don't lose that flamethrower though, Siddolio. At least gamble. Kind of a late retreat, but against a 3-man rifle squad, they'll probably get away. I think they can take maybe 1 or 2 more shots before dying. Flanking lieutenant coming from the left side. 2 squads of Grens left to try and hold this line. Don't have any, not even yellow cover though. In open ground, they're going down pretty fast. Focus firing that lieutenant. He also didn't have cover. He goes down pretty fast. Siddolio backpedaling. Wounded squad. Rifle grenade on that rifle squad. Doesn't really hit anything. Here's the M20. Armor skirts already in progress. 1 Panzerfaust. 2 Panzerfaust. It takes 3 Panzerfaust to destroy an unskirted M20 before the skirt's complete. But unfortunately, there was no 3rd Grenadier squad here to save the day. He's going to get out and just start repairing it. He applies duct tape to fix the engine. By the way, the fact that he got out before armor skirts complete means that he'll have to queue up the upgrade again if he wants those armor skirts. It cancels the upgrade if you leave the vehicle. He got his munitions back. He just has to wait, and it takes quite a while for that upgrade to complete. But it doesn't look like there's going to be another engagement anytime all that soon anyway. Rifleman force retreat from this machine gun though. Siddolio will be forced off both of these fuel points, but he does also have both munitions points, and having both munitions as Oster is extremely powerful. There's tier 2 upgrading, purchasing a 221 now. Once that hits the field, we'll have a much more powerful and mobile weapon to counter the M20, which there's the armor skirt upgrade in production now, and Grant has still not chosen a commander. Now would be the time. There it is, airborne. At 3 CPs, giving him access to paratroopers now, and he's got a little bit of manpower float, so he might be considering throwing a squad of those on the field. The post M20 manpower float for US forces is quite common, and usually you use either your commander or caches or more riflemen to get that float down.
Great fucking job.
And paratroopers are certainly a very popular purchase after the M20. Especially if the battle has been lethal enough to get to 3 CPs before 7 minutes, which is pretty lethal, honestly. Here comes the 222 up the middle with Grenadiers and MG42 support to engage against that lieutenant. M20 on the right side. Throws down an M6 mine right here, so Siddolio is going to need a minesweeper at some point. The fact that there's an M20 on the field should encourage him in that regard. This 222 has to be careful not to hit any M6 anti-tank mines. Over here on the left side, Flamethrower is going to chase away some rear echelon troops, and these Grenadiers will lose that engagement without a significant amount of support. 222 tries to take shots at range with the autocannon, and these paratroopers are not being upgraded with anything yet since all of Grant's munitions just went into mines over here. Flamethrower doing good damage to those rear echelon troops. A little bit of a late retreat on that squad. Very late retreat on that squad. No retreat at all on that squad, and they go down.
We just lost a unit.
M20, meanwhile, is trying to chase down some Grenadiers, which may not survive. If that M20 dives the base, it'll easily kill that. But HMG here in the middle forces a retreat from some paratroopers. And the 222 arrives to try and save the day with Grenadier support. Nice block by Siddolio. Here comes the Panzerfaust, and that M20 is dead. He should have dived the base and just killed those Grens. At least he would have gotten something. Although Siddolio kiting might have actually kited too far. That thing might escape. I can't believe he's gonna let that thing get away. He should have just tanked the bazooka shot. Oh god, I hope he doesn't drive over that mine. That M20 is pretty stranded though. Siddolio moving to cut off the retreat path should be able to locate it and destroy it easily enough. And there it goes. Nicely done by Siddolio. He does hunt and kill the M20. It does not get away. And the bazooka is dropped here where Siddolio should be able to recover it. He was also utilizing infantry awareness.
The enemy is taking our territory.
I don't think that actually gave him any knowledge about where the M20 was, but he used it. So, sure. Stormtroopers. Siddolio apparently feels sufficiently confident after destroying that M20 to go encirclement, and stormtroopers are deployed out of this building. We'll start doing minor damage to those riflemen, and that thing is almost certainly going to die if it paths out of this situation even slightly unfavorably. No! Well, that's okay though. The 222 did its job. The M20 is dead. I don't. It would have been nice to have to bleed his opponent's infantry, but at least he traded well. And that anti-tank mine being gone is also nice. It's better that his scout car hit that than some late-game tank. So, not the end of the world, but it is unfortunate that Siddolio was not able to sweep up that mine. He might purchase a minesweeper or not. Now that the M20 is dead, it's quite unlikely that there will be any further mines this game. He could probably just double up on flamethrowers. His other flamethrower died, apparently. I missed that happening. So, good pickup by Grant.
We are losing a sector.
Grenadiers engaging at range against Lieutenant and paratroopers. MG42 is moving up aggressively towards the fuel point, and the stormtroopers have been upgraded with STG-44s, I think. Yeah. Which should make them quite good. They're basically like Panzer Grenadiers now, I guess. Only they can turn invisible. So sneaky. This will be a tough position to assault. What is this? Tactical advance. Attack more effectively, but are more vulnerable. So same thing as the paratrooper tactical assault with the Thompsons. All it seemed to do to me is make them extremely likely to get wiped right there. They didn't seem like they did that much more damage at all. I don't know. I don't know what I think about that ability. Doesn't seem a whole lot better than the paratrooper one, honestly. But the HMG-42 is doing a good job of pushing infantry out of the capture circle. Grenadiers trying to stick around for as long as they can, but they're going to be forced away. Rifle grenade to bleed the 50 cal before retreating. MG-42 trying to hold the line. Apparently Grenadiers were able to force away a squad of riflemen right there. MG-42 came close to wiping it. He might consider throwing some armor-piercing rounds on. He's getting a lot of shots off. It could boost his damage significantly if he wanted to activate that. Maybe delay capture of this fuel point slightly longer. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it, though. His map control is excellent. He holds the entire right side, decaps the fuel, both munitions points, and has a double cap going as Oster against U.S. forces. Huge victory point lead, 200 victory points in the lead. And Grant is only just now purchasing his major. Once that hits the field, he will be able to get a Sherman out in several minutes, but without his fuel point, it's going to be quite delayed, whereas Siddolio is already queuing up a Panzer IV, and if your opponent's Panzer IV hits the field before your Sherman, you're in a terrible situation as U.S. forces, and you're probably going to wish you had gone captain. But since he's airborne, actually, he'll have access to anti-tank guns, and he might consider researching bazookas to give himself a little bit of wriggle room against that tank. But having to spend munitions on bazookas to fight Oster Tier 3 is not a good situation to be in. At least as airborne, though, he'll have access to the AT gun.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
I wonder if these SDGs could beat these riflemen at this range, in this cover. Probably not.
Squad, ready to move.
I don't think Siddolio thinks so either, because he's not going for it. Tosses a grenade. That grenade wasn't even close, Siddolio. Come on. What the hell was that? Apparently the bundle grenade doesn't produce yellow cover. Apparently it doesn't even make a splat, or anything. That's weird. I did not know that about the Stormtrooper bundle grenade. Panzer IV engaging against LMG paratroopers on the left. Oh no, forcing that retreat is going to significantly weaken Grant's push. Fortunately, no shots connected. Stormtroopers will retreat after that engagement because they need healing. They didn't have very much of a chance of doing much in that engagement anyway. Panzer IV rotates towards this engagement, does finish its top-mount machine gun, and will be a very powerful tool against infantry and tanks alike, especially U.S. forces tanks. And Siddolio's got 32 fuel coming in. He has the entire map under his control. He'll have a lot of freedom this game. He could probably go tier 4 this game. I think there's a very realistic possibility of that happening, which can be nice as encirclement. But having already gone tier 3, I mean, there's no reason not to stick with Oster at tier 3, honestly. It's pretty good against US forces unless you really want something with more armor against Jacksons, but when you have this much of a fuel advantage, you probably don't need tier 4. It'd probably just slow things down for yourself when you could probably overwhelm your opponent utilizing Panzer IVs. But it is nice to have a Panther out, especially against AT guns. AT guns are pretty good. Pretty good against Oster Tier 3. Not really anything special against Panthers. So, something for Siddolio to think about if he has trouble holding the line, but with the triple cap going, with this huge amount of map control, he's not under a whole lot of pressure, and he has a lot of freedom to do pretty much whatever he wants. As long as he doesn't make any huge mistakes, he should be able to take this game. Rifle grenade followed by a retreat. Big blob of infantry coming down the middle. Panzer IV bleeding them all along the way, plus HMG 42. I don't really anticipate this push going very well without the use of smoke, which Grant has still not researched, by the way. He's got 130 fuel in the bank. He's probably just going to go straight to Jackson. I feel like he would have purchased a Sherman by now. I think. I don't know. Having purchased an AT gun, that makes me think maybe he wants to go Sherman and just use the AT gun for his tank. If he overinvests in AT, he might be a little bit weak against these LMG Grens and Stormtroopers. HMG gets overwhelmed and forced to retreat. There's a grenade research, right? No. I guess that was Siddolio's grenade. He just killed that rifle squad to crew that MG. Why would he do that? He had a 4-man and 5-man squad right there. That's not good. Pretty okay trade for Siddolio. Apparently lost his machine gun but killed a rifle squad to picking it up. I wonder if Grant will replace that loss. I don't know. There's actually not that much of a reason to when you could just get more paratroopers instead. Grenadiers in the sniper nest over here. AT gun protecting the middle. Victory point drain will be slowed by a lone rifle squad heading left. There is a machine gun bunker protecting the munitions point. So riflemen will have to skip past that for now. All of Siddolio's forces making their way back out of the base towards the front line, and a second Panzer IV is in production, so I don't think that he plans to go Tier 4 this game. I think he's just gonna spam Tier 3. Do what he can with that, and it should probably work, and I don't know what Grant is waiting for on his tank. Going really hard into infantry and team weapons, which makes it quite difficult to deal with this. There's no mines preventing that Panzer IV from just diving and circle strafing the AT gun to death, and with the second one on the field, I don't know how Grant is going to survive.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
MG bunker firing on those riflemen. They will be forced to retreat right there. SCG stormtroopers engaging against riflemen at this range, both in yellow cover, seem to be winning against LNG paratroopers. They do get suppressed by the stolen HMG 42 over there. Panzer IV forces one retreat, forces two retreats, I think. There they go. Apparently these bios have a bazooka. I didn't even know that. Wow, that flanking force over here on the left killed the AT gun. That's probably GG. Probably GG, especially since all shots from that AT gun either missed or bounced. Two Panzer IVs now, chewing through this very weak front line without a care in the world. And finally, a Sherman is in production after taking massive manpower bleed right here, and if the tanks storm this major retreat point, it's probably going to be the game. One squad of Grenadiers, one Pio squad forced to retreat. Grenadiers recover the American AT gun. Siddolio, by the way, has not even purchased one AT gun, but having an American one is very good, especially against Shermans. Rather than getting really aggressive against this retreat point, which I totally think he could, Siddolio is just going to continue kiting and bleeding his opponent, playing safe. There's really no rush. He's got a huge lead for map control and manpower and fuel, and victory points. There's basically no aspect of this game in which he is not in the lead. So the burden of pushing super hard is not really upon him, but he's gonna start poking. Here comes the Sherman, which is the final hope for Grant. That Panzer IV going to back off ever so slightly to engage that Sherman from maximum range. Try and maximize the odds of that Sherman's shells bouncing. AT gun and Panzer IV both land shots. Armor-piercing rounds from the AT gun to make sure they penetrate. I think the odds of the American AT gun penetrating a Sherman are quite good. I don't know what range at which that's actually possible to bounce. Armor-piercing rounds can probably never bounce against a Sherman. Thank you, Empire's Corrupt, for your congratulations. I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to say, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with my partnership, so thank you. Much appreciated. And the Sherman will be destroyed. There it goes. Panzer IV blitzing into the base will take the game. Siddolio taking his victory with encirclement on Minsk Pocket with a 496 victory point victory. Could be very difficult for Grant to top in Game 2. GG. Well played by Siddolio. Let's see if Grant can turn the series around.